Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Andy O'Fee from Crump Mortgage, Community Mortgage, the Yankee Closer. And you're probably wondering what in the world are you doing at 8:40 on a Sunday night? Well, this is part three of the forecast that I put together for 2021. And the reason it took me a couple more days to get this done is because of the incredible market volatility that we went through towards the end, beginning all the way until the end of last week to end February. And if you read my previous Facebook post, I just went over some of the very, very tangible points of the market that we're going through right now. But as far as what we're going to be looking forward to for 2021, I want to talk to you about what the government is planning on doing and stimulus, which obviously just got passed through Congress and will more than likely go through the Senate with no issue at all. And now we want to talk about the forecast in regards to the Fed, the Treasury Secretary, and exactly what that impact will be on rates going forward. So let's go ahead and start right now. Let's take a look at there she is. Well, Janet Yellen is back. She is now the Treasury Secretary, and her name will be on every piece of currency that is started. Now, the bad thing about her is that she was not a very good Fed Secretary, excuse me, and she has basically a open checkbook when it comes to stimulus. She will do everything she can and not be concerned about the side effects when it comes to the amount of spending that they will put into place. And that she pretty much was responsible for the wealth effect when it came to people investing in the stock market and saying, okay, invest in the stock market and potentially we could see everyone start making more money. But having said that, that is just the reality of who she is, and we'll see how it plays out throughout the year because, again, what the government is going to do is they're going to do everything they can as far as stimulus and money goes to go ahead and keep this economy kickstarted again after COVID. So the next page we're going to talk about the Fed funds rate. Now, one thing I want everyone to be leery of is the fact that the Fed funds rate is not the mortgage rate. Again, let's talk about that. This is the overnight lending rate that banks charge one another to borrow money. And one thing you need to be aware of is the fact that even though Fed funds are at or near zero, they spiked and then they dropped them again. You have to be aware of the fact that even though the funds rate is at zero, there are times when we see interest rates actually go up with the Fed funds rate being zero. So at this period of time, it looks like this was right around 2011. They went from 4 to 5.125. And then even here back in 2013, they rose from 3.5 to 4.75. So despite the fact that the funds rate is at or near zero, does not discount the fact that mortgage rates can be under pressure. And that's basically what we saw last week. Go ahead and read that previous Facebook post and you can see exactly what happened and where we are right now. So one thing you need to be aware of is that as debt increases, and what debt is the government issues more US Treasury debt to pay off some of this stimulus, you actually start to see rates decline. And if you look at it, the statistics and the charts are not going to lie. You can see that when rates were high, the government had no need to issue debt to help stimulate the economy. And that goes back to what we talk about all the time when it comes to the economy, and that is two things that drive rates are the economy and inflation. And those are the two things you can see clearly here that when the Fed doesn't need to start issuing any type of treasury issuance to help stimulate the economy, we see rates go higher. And then vice versa, you see how much rates drop when they start increasing the amount of debt that they need to get the economy going. And this doesn't happen in the United States. This happens in France, it happens in Japan, it happens in Italy, and it will happen in the UK also, and it already has. So these are some very relevant things to think about when you start hearing about primarily some people going out there saying, well, the funds rate zero, rates, interest rates are low. Well, that's the Fed funds rate. That is not the mortgage rate. So let's go back and recast what we were saying, that we want to make sure that you as a consumer and as an agent understand that terminology when people start flirting with the words that interest rates are at zero, because technically they are really not. So this is what I think rates are going to be doing for the rest of the year. Okay, I think that they will remain low for sure. I think that we could see a spike. I've talked to you about the situation in regards to inflation. I think there is going to be a problem with that once the stimulus starts kicking up. But I think the Fed is going to control that. They're going to do something called yield curve control, and they're going to peg a yield on the 10-year note, and they're going to try to keep it there. They did it in the 40s. They'll do it again. So again, inflation pressure, lower debt, debt and technology, meaning technology is going to be coming out, and we hope that that will not trigger any type of inflationary problems. The labor force is down 10 million, but hopefully that will come back to alleviate the supply chain. Remember what happened with the surge for people that wanted to buy toilet paper? Well, it was all supply chain dynamic there. There weren't enough people working to fill the shelves with toilet paper. So that basically pushed prices up on toilet paper. So let's hope that that comes back and will alleviate that problem, and that will take pressure off from an inflationary standpoint. So new spending under the administration increased the supply of treasuries to be sold, like we just talked about. More debt issued means that the economy needs a kicker, and when the economy is slow, the mortgage rates are going to stay low. Then finally, like I said, they're likely to bump higher before resuming a downtrend, which I think will more than likely happen towards the end of the second and maybe third quarter as we go into the end of the year. In the meantime, though, we've got to deal with where we are right now. We are in a rising rate environment. And I would encourage everyone, like I said in my previous Facebook post, that you should be locking your clients' loans and doing something called the float down option. You lock in for that particular day, and then if rates improve, you can improve your rate by one time, and there is a small fee for that. And we offer that as a company, and I think it's a great thing to do. So let's take a deep breath here as we go into the beginning of March. It's the housing market is great. Don't panic right now. Rates are a little bit higher, yes, but like I said, this is just an adjustment that the market is making. I think everyone just has to deal with it right now. And unfortunately, you're not going to have that 2.5% 30-year mortgage that you can share at the next cocktail party or church gathering that you go to brag about your rate. However, you still will be looking at interest rates in the 3% handle for the rest of this year. This is Andy O'Fee, the Yankee Closer. I hope everyone has a great start to March. And then the next phase of our year end or year looking forward is going to be the explosive growth that we are going to see as far as millennials go and how they're going to fuel an already hot housing market. Have a great night and a great March. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.